A guy who most likely still drives the same automobile he did when he was 18 gets some risk photos from a cheater. Regarding the wife messaging another man, I need some advice. My wife went to bed with the kids and left her phone on the couch when I woke up on the couch. No, I never do this. Or so I thought, since we had faith in each other. However, after reading through her Facebook communications, I discovered that she has been in contact with a former classmate that she dated 20 years prior. It appears like he is the one making most of the advances, but she doesn't seem to mind too much. They also shared naked photos. I'm aware that looking through her phone was improper, but I simply got a feeling. To make it the first thing she sees when she opens her phone, I'm tempted to put her phone on the kitchen counter and leave her combo with him open. Should I simply speak with her directly? She continues telling him no since she's married. And it doesn't appear like they have done anything physical, but it's clear that she is loving the attention. I'm not sure how to proceed in this situation. I feel deeply wounded and deceived. I would be grateful for any guidance. Update. I appreciate everyone who got in touch. This morning I gave her a hard time. Her conversation with him was open when I put her phone on the counter before heading to work, so that's what she saw when she unlocked it. She claimed to have seen my strange behavior and that I was unhappy. Before she glanced at her phone, I was attempting to get out of there, but she returned downstairs and said, "So you went through my phone?" "Yes," I replied. I didn't see her try to turn it around on me. She expressed her regret and stated that nothing had occurred and would ever happen. Exchange nudities, I added, is not insignificant. With him, the discourse was biased. He was clearly more hostile toward her and the perpetrator. In the discussion, she didn't express her wish to have sex with him again. She did admit to him that she could never treat the daughters and me that way. She says he was popular in high school, and she liked the attention she was receiving from him. I'm not trying to defend her. Do I not give you enough attention, I asked. No, you do, she corrected. Which I do most of the time. I'm the one who initiates sex and shows affection. Before I left, she requested for an embrace. I told her I still loved her, but not yet. After that, I departed. We were there when she removed and banned him on Facebook. Update again. I sent a Facebook message to the man's fiancée, informing her about his comments to my wife and their naked photo exchange. I was appreciated by her for informing her. They were reportedly planning to tie the knot in November, but she now claims she believes their relationship will end then. My spouse has extended her regrets. She is aware of the error of her ways. Looking over the texts again, he was the one who always messaged first. In actuality, she never made any sexual remarks to him. However, she chose to let it happen. Not to minimize it in the slightest, but things might have turned out quite differently if she had responded to him with the same remarks. I'm still angry, people, and no, I'm not taking it lightly. If we need to go counseling, we'll figure it out together. I'm not just tossing away 3 kids and 14 years of marriage over this. To those who are calling for a divorce, there has been a breach of trust. I hope we can retrieve it. I appreciate all of your responses. Let's see what guidance the community has to give. First of all, please don't feel bad about peeking at your wife's phone. This defies my understanding. I pledge to love and adore you and never look through your phone if I feel suspicious, in good times or bad. This is the first marriage vow that someone has ever written down for the world to see. Indeed, the majority of us most likely consented to 2 becoming 1. I didn't. Ty didn't. He gets separated from my ex because of adultery. For another connection, I'm here. We used to trade phones for days on end since we owned the same company. Telling my spouse that they have no business using my phone and to respect my private life is unthinkable. Get a copy of her texts, someone else advises, so she can't later deceive you about what was said and by whom. I think it's a great idea, but are you able to speak with her tomorrow evening after the kids have gone to bed or after they have finished school? Additionally, I would want to learn as much as possible about this person before you face her. If he is married, in particular, you should notify his wife so that she can stop you from telling her, because he would probably block you if he hasn't already. In case he shared a photo from a vacation to your hometown, or you notice he visited the same restaurant the night your wife was there for her girls' night out, it may be beneficial to check his social media accounts as well. I believe that simply knowing everything up front will help you determine how far this has progressed and what action you wish to take. Additionally, you shouldn't tell her all you've discovered instead. You should let her lie or corroborate what you already know. You may even pose the question as though someone has informed you that her ex has been contacting her, and you're curious as to when they last spoke or what they've been saying. She will undoubtedly lie at first, but it will be helpful for you to know how far she will go with her deception and whether or not she will come clean, without your having to prod her. Another individual makes this offer. That's something exclusive to you, nakedness. Did you also obtain those naked photos? If not, give it some thought. She concurred. She put down the work she was doing. She undressed, posed, snapped a series of pictures, most likely looked through and selected the nicest one, and then emailed it. She had a minimum of 6 opportunities to decide to end the situation there. She favored him above you in your marriage 6 times. A reasonable beginning that pushes limits gently. Like a frog in gently heated water, it's easier to push on the next boundary as they descend. Each breach of a barrier breaks a string on your common connection. It is incorrect. It is incorrect, as you know. She is aware of its error. She chose to link up with you in your marriage 20 years ago, and it shows in every communication, photo, and shared dream. You close something down and you close it down firmly if you want to safeguard what you have. Make screenshots and other recordings. Hence, they cannot be removed. Tell his spouse if he has one, then approach her, ideally at the same moment. You call him by name first. Inform her she is being unfaithful, and you will take meaningful action if she doesn't stop him right now. In order to prevent her from denying anything, you also provide her printouts of her communications and photos. If you can get her a phone with a new number on your plan, inform her that she broke it. She is responsible for fixing things and taking on all the heavy work and trust building. You shouldn't punish yourself, in my opinion, for checking her phone. You followed your instincts and discovered something that would naturally raise suspicions in anyone. Your gut seems to have been right on, and now you simply have to cope with the truth of what you discovered. Additionally, it was a wise decision to inform the man's fiancée. You've done everything you could to let her know what was going on. She deserved to know too. It speaks volumes about your commitment that you're prepared to work through it, but is she willing to do the same? And even if she is, are you willing to take this responsibility? Saying you'll get through it for the benefit of the partnership, the children, or your shared past is one thing. Asking yourself if this is something you'll ever fully get past, or if it will constantly nag at you is quite another. Would you choose to stay? Dumpster fire and midlife crisis will next face off. With my son's girlfriend, my spouse had an affair. It's almost too weird to believe, so I'm forced to share the story. I've just been married for 6 years, but we've been together for 20 years. When he was jailed for drug use 2 months into our marriage, we had reached a really bad point in our relationship. I had no idea that he was using. When I got to work, I thought he had the flu, but it turned out to be drug withdrawal. After being detained, he received a drug rehabilitation term. Throughout his outpatient therapy, he relapsed many times before being compelled to undergo a kind of in-house prison rehabilitation. My son, a 25-year-old man, was dating his 26-year-old girlfriend for this entire time. At the time of the adultery, they had been together for 7 years. Approximately 1 mile distant, my parents' house was occupied by my son and his girlfriend. Well, my son paid for her college education. I kept believing she was going to break up with my son at some point during their whole dating relationship. It seemed to me that she wasn't really into him. Because he believed that paying for her schooling was an investment in their future together, he did so. She earned an associate's degree from college, and I had a sneaking suspicion that she would soon announce her separation from him. My spouse and I had been going through a difficult period at this moment. He was not completing his rehabilitation materials. I had the impression that he was hiding something because he wasn't working. I assumed that he had resumed using, and I was always checking my emails and texts to find out. My son calls me at random one morning. "We should discuss, Mom," he adds. "Grab your keys and meet me outside your house," he says. Keep him from waking. "All right," I replied. I'm thinking to myself right now, oh no, my son is freaking out because she's pregnant. My family as a whole would be destroyed by what transpired. In the next hour. My kid adds, "Where should we go to talk privately?" as I get into the car. I suggested that we take a trip to the locks, which are around 5 minutes away by car, but offer a fairly quiet area for a private conversation. My kid pulls over and tells me, "Mom, my stepdad and girlfriend are cheating on each other." I can hear him now. But it's not what I'm hearing. My spirit seems to have just departed from my body, and I'm in a different reality. My spouse and son's communications, which included comments like how funny would it be if they left us for each other, were discovered by my son. About their planned meeting. Every time I left my house for work, my kid and I would spend our evenings in my bed. How several times she had persuaded me to braid her hair so she could visit him. All of this is happening, and my everyday existence is flying before my eyes. How my parents' house was noisy, and she would beg to come over to study at my house. Or how she would beg me to do her hair so she could go to work the next day. She was really there to make eyes at my husband, and let him to do the same with her right under my nose, even though I would have thought she was attempting to connect with me from my son. She moved out of my parents' house and into an apartment with my husband after 2 weeks, so. It goes without saying that I booted him out that day. We have filed for divorce and are still married as of right now, but the court date has not yet been scheduled. My 15-year-old daughter is overjoyed. She never gets along with the now ex-girlfriend of my son. They still harbor animosity for one another. My soon-to-be ex-husband has determined that my daughter would be better off without him in her life since, After his drug court appearances are completed, he will return to using drugs. My kids experienced a severe depressive episode, and I'm still baffled by what on earth happened to my family. I'm really perplexed by everything. Our pre-trial for the divorce was held. Everything was agreed upon, but he refuses to pay for any of the credit cards he used, even though I only asked that the daily credit card be paid for. He acknowledged having an affair. He acknowledged that he had cut furnace cables. I may reclaim my maiden name with him. They refused to pay the $3,500, so the only thing we have to go to trial on is the one credit card. I'm not backing down from that one. To help with the expense, perhaps the two could sell one of their 3 bikes. Regarding my son, he appears to be recovering nicely. I'm not getting too close to him just yet, because his last relationship ended badly for the family. He's in a new one. Her father has banned my daughter from everything. In court, he stated that the reason was that he didn't want to talk to me, but that's not the case because I wasn't talking to him about any of her accounts. She says she's okay, but I know it's painful for her. I keep telling her that no matter what, I will always be here, and that's really all I can do right now. Before the administrator deleted the post, I did read every remark. While some were nasty, I think that's reasonable. No one on this site can beat me up any worse than I have, and I was totally taken off guard. Since I don't post frequently on Reddit, I wasn't aware of all the guidelines, which is why the post was deleted. I have 1 more month left before I become formally divorced. I've been asked by several people if I plan to enter into another relationship. I still have a long way to go in terms of healing, so we'll see later. With a 26-year-old in meth, the ex-husband appears to be enjoying his finest life to date. She appears to be integrating herself into her newfound way of living as an addict, an employee of the health department, while remaining hidden. If I have any more tea to spill later, I will publish another update. Update yesterday was the last day of divorce court. Since my requests were realistic, I was granted all I asked for. I kind of thought I would feel some sort of relief after the court case was ended. But all I'm feeling right now is sadness. I reasoned that the quicker I finished and moved on, the better I would feel. Nothing has improved for me at all. My network of support has been excellent. To spare my daughter from witnessing it, my parents have taken her in for the week while I'm in mourning. The daughter's phase is rage. She is upset with everyone. She's upset with him for everything, and with me for having to deal with it. My finances are excellent. I'm not mentally. I feel as though I've been forced to ride along on a ride I don't want to take since I was unable to exit the car and had to watch as it crashed and burned. Everyone says it gets better from here, but after a while it seemed worse for some reason. I don't feel like a winner at all, despite what someone stated about me being the one who won this whole thing. I suppose we'll find out in time. We are grateful to everyone who sent kind comments. I'm thankful that I was able to simply let go of everything and utter whatever came to me at that precise moment. Let's hear back from the community as soon as possible. You ought to question your own feelings of sadness. The life of your ex-husband is a complete mess. You inherited his greatest years, which are now behind him and his decision. When his new girlfriend finds out she didn't really win a reward, she will break up with him. She obtained a load. You've had everything wonderful you could have from him, but he's made the decision to ruin his life. See a therapist for your daughter so she may learn how to control her anger. You also have to go. We reside in a tiny town, the op responds. Every day when I drove to work, I watched him go by me on his way to her house. She attends all of her daughter's school events as, before to everything, her younger sister was my daughter's closest friend, and she attends all of my daughter's school events. My sister always participates in when my daughter chooses anything at random, allowing the ex-girlfriend to show up wearing my husband's clothing and tease her in front of my daughter. Someone stops me in the supermarket and tells me they just spotted my son's ex-girlfriend and my ex-husband together. They continue by telling me how repulsive they are. Because she is taking care of him, my ex's family believes she is the best thing since sliced bread, and I constantly see them leaving her house. They make sure they reach her house, even if they never visit ours. The father of my ex-husband publishes on Facebook about his ex-girlfriend without even telling his grandchild. Readings on her achievements. I could try the out of sight, out of mind strategy, but they are with me everywhere I go. To avoid having to see it, I try not to leave the house on my days off, but the house serves as a reminder as well. She's been here for 7 of the 20 years that we've lived together. Yes, he is and was a piece of asshole, but I am stuck in it. The fact that your daughter's activities are being attended by your ex and his girlfriend, who appear to be making a big deal out of their relationship, is quite revealing. Individuals that are like that live on attention and drama, but it will ultimately come back to haunt them. They're probably currently surviving on the shock value. But that won't last forever. They will eventually have to deal with reality and the fallout from their choices. Even though your ex may think he's winning right now, It's hardly a victory to stay with someone who supports such harmful behavior. All it's doing is delaying the inevitable collision. The most crucial thing is that you are concentrating on your children's protection and rehabilitation. People will eventually recognize them for who they really are, and you will emerge stronger because you maintained your composure and handled the situation with dignity. How do you interpret this? We appreciate you being here on our space today. For a chance to not miss our next video, be sure you press the notification bell, like, and subscribe. Until we meet again.